Hey, what's going on? In this tutorial, as we're progressing in our series that I'm doing here on getting your cPanel set up, we're going to be going over real quick how to change your password, and that would be right here in the preferences section. And I just wanted to go over password security, just some basics if you've never had to deal with it. Many people have. If you have, then I'll help you out, or if you haven't, rather, I'll help you out here. Now, when you initially set up your hosting account, you started out with a password. Now, probably the password that you set up was something casual, something that you know, something that you probably have used in the past, and you're gonna want to change your password around because if someone were to somehow figure out your passcode for your hosting account, then they could do some damage because they could upload whatever they want to your site. And I do believe HostGator has a rule against pornographic material, which unfortunately so much of the web is full of that stuff. So you don't want to get hit with harassment from your hosting company about things that might be being put on because it could be leaked. I mean, a smart hacker wouldn't just come in and take your whole site. He might just be hosting one piece of information on your site that you're unaware of. So these are things that you want to make sure that are taken care of. So I suggest changing your password at least once a month. At least once a month, change your password. I really think you should use the password generator. Like I said, that really is a deterrent. I mean, use the highest settings. You can change the length of the passcode to 18 and use both alpha characters and non-alpha characters. And of course, alpha meaning, A, B, C, D. The non-alphas include your symbols. So now it says now here's the funny part here because HostGator gives you some advice. I'm going to show you that here. It says I have copied this password in a safe place. Absolutely, absolutely, you need to do that, and you click OK, and that will change the passcode for your entry into the site. Because before you come to log in, usually there's a little pop up that says log in, username and password. So this is your password. I suggest changing it. Now down here you see HostGator is telling me protect your password, and it means memorize your password. Do not write it down. If you're in an office space, and one of the things I really want to go over is password security, because your site and your information really is only as secure as your passwords. But then also too, it also depends on you not doing anything dumb. If you're working for a large company, maybe remember that if someone gets a hold of your password, they can use it to again, if they perhaps normally, I know if you go to a company, they have a particular way that they set up the username. So if someone is privy to that information and they get a hold of your passcode, well, they can do stuff in your name, and you never want to have that going on, ever, ever, ever. So it says memorize it. I say write it down, and use your password generator. That's my suggestion. But keep it in a space where no one's going to be looking for your passcode. If you put it in your wallet, that's fine, as long as you don't leave your wallet all over the place. Don't paste it to your monitor. Don't put it underneath your freaking keyboard. These are common errors that people make, and they're compromising the security of their company. Don't be that guy. All right, be the guy who does the right thing. Like I said, it's okay to write it down, but keep it somewhere, I mean, safe, where no one's going to ever think to look for the passcode. I do suggest that you write it down. And I do suggest that you not necessarily keep it on your desktop. Like, don't put it in a folder that says passwords in this folder. Don't do that. That's not smart, and that's going to cost you in the long run. And these are all some tips here. Do not share your password. That's what I was about to get into. Is don't just tell every Joe Schmo that comes into you what your passcode is. If you give your passcode out for any reason, you change it immediately after that transaction is over. Okay. Next step, and also too, I'm going to show you how to add layers of protection so that you're still protected. Like, let's say that you might hire an independent guy to come in and do some changes, some edits to your site. Like, you may call me up and be like, "Hey D, I need you to add some stuff to my site periodically." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. So just set me up a user account." So you'd come over and you'd set up a user account and you'd give me limited access, so that the only place that I would be able to affect through an FTP account, that's basically what you'd be setting up, is an FTP account. And then you just give me access. Let me just see if I can do that really fast. I'll just show you one that I already have. Now you see these FTPs down here. There will be a main FTP, which is like the big dog. Now you see how it says special FTP accounts, and then these are all set up down here. Now this guy here, if anybody got a hold of this guy, they would have access to every single, see the path that he's able to affect? That's the main path of my website. So he would have access not just to this, but every other path that I have, every other website by default, because he's in the main folder. And I'll show you what that looks like here. And I'm just trying to give you some tips on how to protect that info. And if you look right here, you'll see, yep, sure enough, you see, that's home/bullseye. That's everything. That's all these folders. So if I gave someone access to this folder, they would have access to everything. Everything on my section of this shared server. More specifically, you want to give them only access to the place where they need to be. I mean, if you can limit it to just a single folder, that's even better. Like, for instance, if I want somebody to go to Dante, I don't know what's at Dante, and let's say I had another folder here, I want to give them access only to the folder that says Dante, and maybe even only to the folder that says images, because all you are is a graphics dude. You do not need access to my database. You don't need access to the million other applications that might be running on my hard drive. I just need you to make a graphic. So be very cautious about who you give your info out to. You don't know these people, so keep that on lock. What the heck is that? Let's go back into the change password. Let's look at these other tips. Avoid using one password for all your logins. I'm sure you've read about that on YouTube, or excuse me, heard about that on YouTube, Yahoo. Yeah, again, don't use the same password for this that you use for Yahoo, which is so constantly hacked and broken into, because then eventually, if they find you with a website, they may decide they want to try and hack that, and God forbid they actually guess right, which many of us do use the same passwords. That's why I said take advantage of this password generator here for yourself. And again, here we go. Don't provide your password to someone for assistance unless you verify they need the password. And of course, they are who they say they are. Very important. I mean, there's stories about people walking into companies with a clipboard and saying, "Hey, I'm here from the IT department and I need your passcode, your username and passcode." And people giving it to them. Why? Because they look official. I mean, these are big companies, and this is how people are hacking now. You think that they're online, but they're also in your face every day. So be careful with your personal data. Next thing, avoid logging in from public computers. Public computers is any computer that is not under like a secure network. Like if you're at home, hopefully you have some type of firewall that's installed and you're behind that firewall. This is where you come every day, and you don't have a million people at your house or at that particular location using that server. So when you're talking about public computers, you're saying, okay, I went to the library and I used the library's computer. And the reason being is because there's all kinds of programs that are out there for people to get in if you don't have a firewall, one. And then two, to if they're behind the firewall, meaning they're coming behind you using that same computer that you use, there's a chance that there's data that the computer collected that they can collect for themselves, and they can hack your site, they can hack your personal information. Change your password frequently. As I said, I suggest at least once a month changing that password. Avoid dictionary words. Don't come up with anything too common. Avoid familiar items. All four of these right here is avoided just simply by using this password generator, and put it on high. Like I said, put it on 18, because you're going to be copying this down anyway, so don't worry about it. Let the computer figure out a good one. Oh wait, don't forget, generate the new password. I mean, look at that. Who's guessing that? Who's guessing that? Nobody. Nobody's guessing that. So very important to note. As I said, change that password as frequently as possible, as you're comfortable with. And remember, when you change that server passcode, you may need to change other information as well. So be aware of that, and be safe out there hosting your site for the first time. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this tutorial.